Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news this Tuesday evening, so let's begin. First up, delivery driver from New Hampshire carjacked in Massachusetts, police say. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Burst out the door when it matters most. For more than a decade, he's been right there, everywhere. And when American jobs are on the line, he leads the charge. ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and we thank you.
We are following some breaking news. Drake, Massachusetts, where police say a pizza delivery driver from Hudson, New Hampshire, was carjacked at gunpoint last night. The driver was not hurt, and police later found the car in Lowell. Police are still searching for the suspect.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Computerized program helps Manchester middle schoolers improving reading skills. Reading Plus program adapts for each student. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
The ability to read for understanding and to write for meaning is huge.
And one click at a time, middle school students in Manchester are getting better at those skills thanks to a program called Reading Plus, a cloud-based tutorial.
So they can see if the words that they're reading phonetically, can they assign a meaning to the word, which is a whole other craft, as it were.
The program boosted literacy rates at Parkside Middle School. Now it's being expanded in Manchester to all the middle schools for the next 3 years, thanks to a $105,000 grant from Granite United Way and Wells Fargo.
We are investing in a technology that had been successful and had proven to really help the kids.
This program was so perfect because it adds tools in the toolkits of our educators to help kids learn to read.
And it's also tailored to each individual student.
You start off being yourself, and then as you get better at the program, it starts giving you harder and harder lessons.
One of the goals of this program is to make reading and the language arts fun. And depending upon the success of this program, there's the possibility it could be expanded statewide.
And supporters believe that by helping provide a solid foundation, this program can go a long way towards ensuring a prosperous future.
This is the time that you have to focus on literacy. It's grammar school and middle school. You have to get after literacy right away, and that's going to predict success in the future, both in high school and in college.
In Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. M/S Mount Washington leaves summer port, marks end of boating season. Heading to winter home in Central Harbor. Making the end of the boating season, the M/S Mount Washington has left its summer port of Wares Beach. The ship is traveling to its winter home of Center Harbor. The tradition of sounding the three long horn blasts dates back more than 50 years. And now let's take a look at this video.
Far from ordinary, and now far closer than you ever imagined.
Okay, and there you go on that video. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for this Tuesday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed in the red and went down. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. And that's a look at your U.S. stock market. S&P 500 touches record, then closes little changed ahead of Fed meeting. The S&P 500 touched a fresh record high on Tuesday before closing just below the flat line as investors looked ahead to key Federal Reserve's meeting. And happening right now in Laconia, New Hampshire, Elizabeth Warren takes the stage to do a town hall event. Take a look. And this is a photo of Elizabeth Warren on the stage in Laconia, New Hampshire, as you can see. In WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton is there. He took the photo. Former Ohio Governor John Kasich to visit New Hampshire on November 7th for an event at UNH. Timing prompts speculation of primary filing, but top supporters say it won't happen. White House national security official who heard Trump's Ukraine call set to testify. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
The impeachment battle is heading into a new phase on Capitol Hill this morning. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has set the first formal vote on impeachment, and investigators will hear for the first time from a White House official on that Trump phone call with Ukraine's leader. The decorated Army colonel will testify that he twice warned about inappropriate pressure to investigate the president's political rivals. Our senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, his name is Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. He is a decorated combat veteran, served in the Army for more than 2 decades. He describes himself as a patriot and says that it was out of his sense of duty and obligation that he felt the need to go to his superiors with his concerns about what he was hearing, not once, but twice. This morning on Capitol Hill, a key witness who listened in on the call at the center of this impeachment inquiry will tell investigators he was so concerned by what he heard, he feared it would undermine U.S. national security. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, a decorated combat veteran and top Ukraine expert on the National Security Council. He's the first White House official to testify who heard the phone call between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, when Trump demanded Ukraine investigate his political rival, Joe Biden. According to his opening statement obtained by ABC News, Vindman will tell investigators, "I did not think it was proper to demand that a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen, and I was worried about the implications for the U.S. government's support of Ukraine." Vindman was also troubled by comments made by Gordon Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the European Union and a key figure in this Ukraine investigation. Vindman will testify that during a meeting in the weeks before that call, Sondland started to speak about Ukraine delivering specific investigations in order to secure a meeting with the president. I stated to Ambassador Sondland that his statements were inappropriate, that the request to investigate Biden and his son had nothing to do with national security. Vindman reported both his concerns about Sondland and what he heard on the call to his superior, saying he was acting out of a sense of duty. Colonel Vindman insisting it is my sacred duty and honor to advance and defend our country, irrespective of party or politics. Now, Vindman says it was his priority to keep the U.S. relationship with Ukraine on track. And according to the New York Times, he was directed by his superiors, including then National Security Advisor John Bolton, to draft a memo that sought to restart the millions of dollars in security aid that was being withheld from Ukraine. But Vindman says that the president refused to sign it. George.
That is coming up this morning, Mayor. Meantime, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, after weeks of pressure, has now said there will be a formal House vote to lay out the procedure for impeachment.
And George, this vote that is set for Thursday will outline what comes next, including the procedures for public hearings. Now, unlike in the past, it is likely that staff lawyers, not just members, will have to do some of the questioning. This vote will also outline what rights the White House has in this process. Republicans, of course, for weeks have been insisting that this investigation go public, that there are public hearings. This move now is in part an attempt by Democrats to try and put Republicans in a box, given their intent on going after the process here.
Goal is now a final vote by Christmas?
George, it seems that we are on track to see those public hearings starting sometime next month.
Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks very much.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that is it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.